Everyone, we're going to carry on our random numbers and look at an assignment that has to deal with rolling dice. So if you want a new project and call it rolling dice, and what you can do with this to start is you can put a button. If you want to put the word roll, you can put roll. These are picture boxes, so picture box 1 and 2. And I also have a little label up top here. It's called label 1. I left it as label 1. So I have one label, two picture boxes, and one button. How the project will work is when I push play and I hit the roll button, I'm randomly getting dice rolls and I'm getting the total of those rolls up top in the label. So I want to break this down into kind of three parts of the assignment. The first part of the assignment will be um, how do we do this where we can just start with the randomizing and getting the dice roll, and then we'll look at the last two parts have to deal with the graphic pictures for the user. So it's just a matter of randomizing some code here. So if I push stop and I look at my code, I'm going to just take a look at the first part of the code. And this has to do only with, it has nothing to do with the visual, the pictures of the dice. It has just to do with that green number you saw where it randomized and added the number. Now, later this code does go into the pictures, but we're focusing on that first part. So the first part looks like this. So how do I get two numbers that I can make that randomize that add together? So first thing we did is we dimmed, or I told the computer I declared two variables. The first variable is called dice1 and the second one's called dice2. And you could use any variable name you want for the most part if it follows the rules. You can't use obviously those reserved names like end or exit or dim or label or anything like that. But you can definitely use dice1 and dice2. So I told the computer, don't get confused or don't freak out if you see the word dice1 later in the code here. That's normal. We've declared it. It's going to store an integer. So we're declaring it as an integer, which is a number. And it's actually going to be a number between 1 and 6, as you can see in the randomization code. So we talked about this before. Your randomization code, you write randomize. If you take that away, you're going to get the same dice rolls every time you play your program. So for this, we want different dice rolls anytime you play your program. So randomize, and then we're going to have two dice that we're randomizing for. Dice 1, we're going to type in this code here, the int bracket 6 for the highest number, the upper bound minus the lower bound, which is 1, and the rest of our randomization code, and then do the same for dice 2. So we've randomized two numbers now, and all we need for that label, that green label, if I play that, is we just need to add those two numbers together. So if you take a look here, label1.text is dice 1 and 2. I'm going to add those numbers. So when I push this, I've randomized a 3 and a 5 behind the scenes, and I'm showing when I add them together, I get an 8. How about a 4 and a 2? Get a 6. You get the idea. What we haven't done yet is we haven't done anything to do with this graphic, which is what we're going to do next, and you can kind of probably saw it pop up below here. First thing we need to do is find some sides of a dice we can chop up and use as pictures. So we'll do that next. The thing I like to use is Google. So we'll go to Google here. If I can get on Google, and we'll just go in the search bar and write dice sides. Okay, so we've got dice sides. We'll hit search. I like to go to images, and we're going to look at, we call these, I guess we call these sprites. It's a bunch of images on a sheet. So let's say we take this one here, this black and red one, St. Mark colors. I've got a sheet here. This looks fine for me right now. I want to cut these dice up, so I don't want a picture of all these dice together. I want just the 1 or just the 2 and just the 3, so on and so on. So how do you do this? I like to use Windows Paint, and I like to take a screenshot. So when I take a screenshot, um, and you can't see this, but on your keyboard, I have a print screen button. You should too, hopefully, that says PRT or some type of version of print screen. Mine's beside the Alt button and the Control button. So I'm going to push print screen, and that takes a picture of my screen. And where am I going to paste this picture? I like to use Windows Paint. So in Windows Paint, if I go down to this search bar here, and if you have a search bar and you type in the word paint, it'll find the Windows Paint program. Very basic program that allows you to kind of take stuff, cut it out, and do things. So I have it. I have an untitled paint program. It's blank. Now I'm going to Control V for paste, and I got a picture of my screen shows up. So I'm in Windows Paint, and it popped in a picture of the screen grab I took. So I don't need all this. I just want that picture one. So what I'm going to do in Windows Paint is I'm going to go up to my select. I'm going to click on select, and I'm going to outline this dice. I'm going to start with number one. Okay. So I've selected one. I've made a little grab of what I want. I'm going to go out. I'm going to hit this crop button. Now, when I hit crop, everything disappears except what I selected. So here goes. There we go. I've got this. I want to save this. So we're going to go to File. We're going to Save As. Doesn't matter, but I'd like to save as. We'll go JPEG. And let's save it in here as Dice 1. Now you can see I already have one as Dice 2. So save that as Dice 1. And what I'd like you to do now is get Dice 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And how do you do that? You can Control V. You get the screen grab back. You can paste the whole screen again. You're going to select. You're going to grab now number 2. You'll go up to crop, hit crop, and then you're going to go to File, Save As, and PNG or JPEG, doesn't matter. And you're going to place it, sure. And you're going to keep doing that until you get all 6 dice. So you may want to pause now before we start coding and going back to the program. And once you get all your 6 dice, you can kind of resume the recording. Okay, so back at the program here, we need to get this programmed. We need to find a way to get these dice programmed. So we know that dice 1 is going to randomize between 1 and 6, and dice 2 will randomize between 1 and 6. How do we show that picture to the user? Here's dice 1. So pretty simple if statement. If dice 1 equals 1, so if number 1 was randomized, then have the picture box 1.image equal my.resources.1. Now, we've talked about my resources, I believe, in class, but let's go over that. Where is my resources? How do I get those pictures in? So I'm going to go to my design, and if you don't have it, like I don't, you're going to go to View, Solution Explorer, and you want to get this in the top right of your program. And if you double click on the My Project, okay, so I have my form here. But if you double click on the My Project, you're going to get a bar that opens up that probably looks like this. You're going to have this gray screen. I'm just going to push stop here. You're going to have this gray screen. You're going to have a menu down the left side where you want to add any resource, whether it's a sound bite, if it was a wave file, or if it's a picture, anything like that. You can even put video. It goes into the resources tab in this vertical menu. So you want to click down to resources. Now you notice I've got my old dice in there already, and I have the 1. What if I want to add the 2? So let's do it together. So to add any of your dice sides in here, you're going to go up to Add Resource. There's a little arrow there, a chevron. You're going to click on it. You're going to go to Existing File because we've saved it on our computer, and we're going to click on what we want. So now I've just added the second dice, dice 2. You would go on and you want to add all your dice there. So once you get all your dice, you're going to, all in your resources, we're going to go back to the coding and take a look. So I'll give you a chance to do that. You may want to pause it now before we get going with the code. So back to the code. We're going to look at this again. Again, remember, if dice 1 is 1, the picture box shows the picture of 1. I'll just bring up my program here. Pretty easy. So I hit roll. Looks like it randomized a 5 here in picture box 1. So if it's dice 1's a 5, this shows the picture of the 5. Do it again. Oh, there it showed a 5 again. Here's a 3. So it's show a 3. This is picture box 2. And in my code, just down below, you're going to see that I'll just scroll down here, and here's dice number 2. So it's almost the exact same code. It is the same code minus instead of dice 1, it says dice 2, and picture box 2 is going to show you what the image is. So right now, when I roll this picture box, dice 2 is randomized to 2. And what is dice 2? If dice 2 equals 2, then what happens? Picture box 2 dot image is my dot resources dot 2. So this would load up with your 2 picture. So should, by the end of this, be able to get exactly something like this. Probably a lot better. If you notice my dice, like this dice is different than this dice. Um, you probably have a nicer version of it. But I'm going to stop there. I'm going to let you guys finish your program. I think I've showed you the code here, but I'll just scroll up or scroll down one last time and try to get it compressed here. So if I bring this back up, get it together here, and then we'll just go down to code here at a late scroll just in case you need to get it all close together. So, and then I'll have the end of my dice 2 here. And that's all I have for code. It's all under the button. I'll stop there, let you guys get to it. This should get you into your slot program. And your slot program is just using 3 picture boxes and get them to match up. So that is what this will lead to. The slot program will be for marks. What I will do maybe is if I have it, we'll just file open. We'll kind of preview that. It'll give you a sneak peek for those that are watching these videos. And see if we have very basic slot machine program. I will send out or email the breakdown on what you're going to be evaluated for this program, for the slot program. You're going to notice the slot program, when it loads up, you start with 100 tokens. Every time I spin, I lose 2. And if things match like that, I get paid a certain amount. You control that. So you've got to use what you've learned. I think you should be able to hit a button and randomize 3 pictures you see here. And I say that because you've done rock, paper, scissors, and you've done this past assignment we just did with the rolling dice. You're going to have to decide on the payouts. So how do I decide on the payouts? Well, for me, let's say I called this dice 1, dice 2, dice 3. If dice 1 equaled 1 and dice 2 equaled 1 and dice 3 equaled 1, then I'd pay my label or whatever, my score would equal score plus 20. It's going to be challenging, but you should have enough on your own to hopefully figure it out. I can't show you the code for this one, but don't get anxious about it. Don't worry. Just give it your best shot, and let's see how you do with random numbers. And some of you might get it, some of you might not, but we'll see how it goes. So good luck, and I'll give you the timelines and the due dates for what I'm looking at for this. But I would like you to do this project and film yourself playing the with your code in it and sending it back so I could evaluate this one. All right, have a great week, everybody. That's it for now.